Hello, Professor.
Guten Tag, mein loyal assistant. How are you on this dark and stormy evening?
I'm fine, Professor, but I have to say it's a fairly regular, calm evening.
What do you mean? Can't you hear the thunderclaps?
No, Professor, no. It's in your head. Remember, you're a schizophrenic mad scientist, and sometimes you hear special effects. We've been over this.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes I feel like it's overly dramatic in here.
It's just a regular laboratory. You have beakers and test rats and nothing out of the ordinary. Professor, seeing how it's such a clear and lovely night out, why don't we go to the observatory?
You mean to look at space?
Why, yes, Professor. Let's look at space.
Exactly. Now let's go, post haste.
Say, Professor, did you happen to get the telescope modification that you were working on today? Is it ready?
Do you mean the modification that would allow us to see into and through the other side of the black hole?
Yes, that's the one.
No.
Oh, that's...
Oh, wait. No, I mean yes.
Oh, so you did get the modification?
Yes, assistant, but I'm afraid it caused an irreversible side effect on the fabric of time and space.
How?
Well, you will see. It's right here. Welcome to the observatorium.
Yeah, I've been here before. Many times. I helped build most of this equipment. And the room, I helped build the room, and I helped do so many other things. And
Silence! I have already calibrated the telescope on the supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way. Have a look. Tell me what you see.
Okay, it's... Professor, it's... I see darkness. Oh, no, wait, there's something coming into focus. It's a white light. I can't really make it out, but... It's our laboratory! That's me walking to the laboratory. It's me walking to the door from earlier. This is incredible.
Yeah. You see, it's a time loop.
But, Professor, I'm only seeing a time loop. Time is moving normally right now.
Yeah, I'm afraid. Well, as I've said and will say, and have always said, in an infinite number of universes, this is the end for us, my faithful assistant.
No, this can't be. No! Wait, we're still here.
No. It's a time loop. Just wait. We're finished for sure.
Wait a sec. Professor, this modification you made, I can't help but notice that you've got the security camera system for the laboratory wired directly into the telescope.
No. It's a time loop, damn it!
So you're telling me we're just watching a recording from the lab earlier, which you've piped into the telescope?
Ooh, time loop.
All right.
Physics.
You know what?
Math!
I got, that's great, Professor, but I got stuff I gotta do. I got a wife, and I got kids. And I have a life away from this place. You know what? I'm out of here. That's it. That's it.
Life from Victoria! It's Improperganda!
Welcome to Improperganda. I'm going to be your host this week, Ed Craig. To my left is...
Arlen James Finnerty.
To my right is...
Alec Edward Lang.
And we're here today to talk about space. Space!
Guten Tag.
I also have the professor and the assistant here. Professor?
Yeah.
What do you think about when you think about space?
The vast emptiness of the open Siberian wilderness.
In outer space?
Or are we talking about the inside of my skull?
Yes. We're talking about outer space today. Not
Outer
the
space.
gulags.
Yeah. It scares me.
Yeah?
Worrisome.
Overwhelming feeling
Yeah.
of the
Too big.
vastness
Too
of it.
much. Too
Yeah.
much of a muchness.
Yeah. I get that a lot too. Sometimes when I look up at the stars, I feel like it's all just too big and I'm way too small and nothing matters. So it's like, I don't want to look up there because everything just feels out of control. Arlen, what do you think? Jen, just when you think about space, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm definitely on board with what you guys are saying. There's something about, looking up at the sky, and it's so much more vast than you and your tiny life. And I mean, everything that you've ever experienced is in 2 fists of brain matter. And you look into the sky and there's just endless, expanding, dark, cold vacuum. And why? What the fuck? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
It can really fuck you up
Challenge your
sometimes.
belief systems. It can cause some anxiety. It definitely can. It's also endlessly fascinating, which is, I think, why you chose this as your second subject.
Yes.
Dreams was the first one, and now space.
Ed's broad topics.
It's broad topics you can run with, but I like that, and we can run with these, so that's where we're doing it.
Yeah. I remember the first time I came out to Vancouver Island, and my buddy and I went up to Tofino, and standing on the beach there at night and seeing the night sky like that for the first time in my life. And it's like white with stars. Like growing up close to Ottawa, or even being here in town in Victoria, you get a speckling of stars, right? But you don't get like that. You can see the band of the Milky Way, and it's pretty humbling to just the amount of other worlds that could be out there, the amount of possibilities, and it makes you feel really small, but not in a bad way. I don't. Sometimes I get the anxiety, but sometimes it makes you feel like
More peaceful.
Yeah, it can be that too. Yeah.
It's funny to cross-examine that with, say, religion. When you look at space and you think about religion, and I don't think we're raised in particularly heinous religious upbringings, but
I a little bit, not heinous, but a little religious. Yeah.
I had some religious spacklings as well, and you look up into the sky and you see stars, and you think of, again, possibilities. Like, what is that? What is this? Why are we here?
Mm-hmm.
And you start to think about religion and everything. At least to me, there's a lot of conflicting emotions there. It's very...
Yeah.
It's an endless fascination, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
Do you remember as a kid the first time you got interested in space? Like when it was something that you're like, whoa, there's other planets, there's a solar system, there's...
I remember as a kid, I'm not sure how old I was, but my dad was there with me, and the subject of space came up, and maybe we were looking at stars. It's a bit blurry right now, but I know that it was the first time in my life where I kind of did that sort of mental double take. Like you're thinking about the concept of where does it end and what's behind that,
Yeah.
and what's beyond that, and what's beyond that. And it was the first time my brain had made that sort of abstract leap. I must have been about 10 or 12, somewhere around there, where you're developing that ability to abstract things.
Yeah.
And I remember asking my dad, like, where does space end?
You should know.
And my dad just sort of said, well, son, go get your dictionary and look up the word infinite.
Huh.
Which I did.
Yeah. It didn't really answer your
That
question.
So you're saying that didn't solidify your
And
stance on...
And on the next birthday after that, I remember my dad bought me a book on not astrophysics, but just astronomy in general,
Oh, cool.
for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was cool.
I was big into space when I was a kid. I loved it. I had all kinds of books that I got in like astronomy and stuff like that. And there was a time when I knew all the astrological signs and like the names of those stars and stuff like that. I still retain a few of them, but it was big for me when I was a kid for sure. I thought it was so cool. Obviously, growing up too, I'm a big Star Wars fan, so I mean, outer space was, yeah.
It's a natural segue, the science fiction and the science.
Yeah.
I guess the feeling that there's something so much bigger than yourself actually offers a bit of comfort. Because, I mean, no matter how badly you fuck up on Earth, there's all that stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
So who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, you're here for what, 80, maybe 90 years tops if you're lucky. So, I mean, there's nothing I can do in my life that's going to affect all that. Mm-hmm. It's kind of the great equalizer to me. Like, it does cause anxiety, but at the same time, it gives a bit of comfort.
Yeah.
You know, you can look up into the sky and be like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck am I worrying about? Look at all that. It's beautiful. It's very touching. It sort of stirs something inside you.
Yeah.
That makes you want to learn.
It
really does. At least if you have some sort of a brain in your head. I mean, you were talking about your dad buying you books and you're interested in it. And it sparks something like, what are those? Why are they there? Why are we here? How do we get to that? And then, of course, as you age, you realize that, you know, we don't even have the technology to get outside of our own solar system.
Yeah.
With any sort of, I mean, it is such a hostile environment. Mm-hmm. I mean, even to be in space for any amount of time is just catastrophic on your circulatory system. Biologically, it's fucking horrific. But we're doing it.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Sort of.
Sort of.
I was going to say something now. I totally forgot. Alec, I'll talk.
Well, the thing that comes to my mind is when I think about space, I think of it in literary terms. Well, not necessarily literary, but just works of fiction that I've found that have been really good, sort of adept ways of thinking about it. And the first one is like the Jim Carrey movie, you know, The Truman Show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you talk about like how insignificant one person is compared to all of that. Well, unless all of that happens to be in place just for you because your last name is Truman, you know, and it's all basically about you, which is some sort of weird sort of psycho fantasy that someone might have. Like,
yeah,
you know, that's one way of looking at it. And
it is.
There's no scientist out there who's going to be able to prove that you're wrong.
It's true.
If you make that assertion.
There's that. What's that? It's like you're the only person that exists, and then when you turn around, all those people just disappear behind you because you can't prove that they're not there or that they are there.
Descartes, yeah,
It could be all just in your head. You could be the center of the universe. You could be making it all up. You close your eyes, you guys don't exist anymore. It's just me. And I have no way of proving that you're here right now. Even though you're talking, I still can't prove that you're here. It's like,
it's true.
it's weird.
There's so many metaphysical issues that arise from talking about space because you can start talking about reality, you know, and metaphysical things there's an 18% chance. I don't know how they narrowed it down to this.
Are you sure it wasn't 18.5?
It might have been up to 18.5.
Okay.
But this touches on, you know, like The Matrix.
Ah, yeah, that's the other movie I was going to talk about.
Simulation theory. There's an 18.5%. We're going to say half because Alex said half. I just upped it. I just bumped it up.
18.5.
I just bumped it up. That everything is a simulation. And if you think about humanity as an ever-progressing thing, if they ever got to a point of technological advancement, they would want to see where they came from. I mean, you look at like The Sims and like games in your cell phone, and like, what is reality? I mean, are the characters that we're creating in these games real? And that's like, you look at our own existence where everything can be quantified with math.
That too. Yeah.
One of the big, in this 18 percentile thing that they came up with is that 18.5. Sorry, 18.5. But one of the things is that a lot of things in life can be quantified with math cyclically.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of math behind it. I mean, it could very well be a creation from a higher power or a future version of you and I.
It could be, yeah.
And there is, and if, I remember, camping with some friends and bringing that up, and a couple of the girls were like, oh, I can't listen to this. Oh my God, I'm going to freak the fuck out. And there's nothing you can do about it, but it poses an interesting thing about your own existence.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you disprove it? How do you disprove God? How do you disprove anything? You can't.
Yeah. I remember one time playing Grand Theft Auto, and like when you're driving around in Grand Theft Auto, people make decisions in the game. They'll jump out of the way, or they won't.
Autonomous characters.
Yeah, but like you think if you just let that go, like they're making decisions. Like these little people are the simple decisions,
Mm-hmm.
but they're still making decisions, and it's a world that's generated.
So is that a real?
Do they have rights?
Do they have? Are we going to protest the rights of?
It could be.
Well, who's to say
The whole
that
thing could be a simulation.
this physical world that we call the physical world that we live in now isn't just some sort of, abstract thing that's based on some other more primal, more real, maybe this is like Grand Theft Auto to some other
It could be.
being.
Maybe it's a video game, and
That's what
some
we're
guys
saying.
playing
Yeah,
Grand Theft
that's
Auto.
exactly what we're saying.
Or it's like Grand Terrorist.
We could be an
Grand
extremely
terrorism.
advanced civilizational, civilizational.
So
That's all
that's
I
a
got.
word, yeah.
That's a word.
You can
right?
look it up in the dictionary.
Civilizational.
Civilizational.
You gotta. One thing that's interesting to me is sensory things. Like with your eyesight, and everything's based on frequency range, and like with hearing, like human beings have a limited range of hearing. So I mean, there's a lot of sounds that we simply can't receive biologically, and you have to think it's probably the same with your other senses,
Or
Like with
senses
your-
that
with
we're
your
not even
vision?
aware of.
or your sixth sense. And
That's true too. Like it's funny to think that we have a limited amount.
You're
of
operating
senses.
on a very restricted
limited
band,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So we can't even really comment because we probably aren't even privy to everything that's going on.
No, totally.
At all.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Everything that we consider to be acceptable science today is based
On our narrow frequency of what we can
Five.
hear.
5 senses
No.
and what that perceives.
It yes, but they do try to find.
Well,
they
you can
try to
talk
break
about
out of that.
you can talk about math, which is probably the most empirical of all the sciences.
And that's
It's still based on things that we can.
that's actually one of the biggest
Tangible
that's
things.
That's one of the biggest arguments for our universe being a simulation is the fact that everything runs on math.
It can be quantified with math. It's everything's cyclical. Your heart beats in a certain way. Everything is, a small sphere with a little proton swirling around it. Whether it be planets, whether it be the smallest most things in your circulatory system,
Sure.
it's all relatively similar.
Right.
To the point where it's kind of creepy. If you think about it too much when you're high, you have a panic attack. That's all I'm saying.
But why is it similar, right? That's what I want to say because
It's a fucking simulation.
Exactly.
Oh my god! I can't do this anymore.
I think
Arlen,
that
you're gonna be hit by a car. Make a
all of
decision.
science, all of math is just is purely subjective. There's nothing objective about it. It's just human.
It's a man-made system.
It's
to
a human
quantify
thing,
our
right?
existence.
Who knows? There might be thousands of other ways of carving up the giant jigsaw puzzle, which is reality.
That we just haven't.
Right. We just know that with the scientific method, each time we carve up the picture into these shapes and put it back together, we get the same picture each time we do it. That's the scientific method. That doesn't mean that that's the only way of carving up the picture.
It doesn't explain how a hummingbird can fly. I mean, this might sound cheesy, but the mass of a hummingbird's body, based on its wing mass, shouldn't be able to lift off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But they can. They can fly. Their wings are so frail, but they beat so quickly. They can lift, like, mathematically, it's impossible.
They figured it out. So we should really be talking to the hummingbirds.
We should be talking to the
What the
hummingbirds.
fuck? What happened?
But it's true. There's no mathematically they shouldn't work.
You know, like
and they do. There's things in nature that just happen that we can't quantify with numbers and digits.
Yeah. I was listening to Radiolab one time, which is a far better podcast than what we're doing right here.
Say it isn't so.
And they were talking about how they'd gone to like a village, like a third world country village where people are like away from, society, whatever. And they found that children naturally, their mathematical ability, it's logarithmic. Like you naturally go to logarithmic math. So it's like 1, 3, or 9 or something like that. You skip all the numbers in between.
Yeah.
Like and that people are broken into thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like there's a time in your life when you do think that way. You think like you just think in logs, but then you're broken to think in digits.
You're trained.
Yeah, like you're trained,
pushed,
and
funneled.
And everybody has to have that part of them broken to think in terms of little digits, which maybe we're just going about it the wrong way. Maybe we're not actually seeing the universe the way it is because we're thinking in a made up mathematical way, where the natural thing to think is.
I totally agree.
I don't want to take this into a totally different direction, but I mean, that's one of the things that people talk about with supernatural entities. Because a lot of people that have children, children at a certain age will see and point and look at things that adults can't see.
Mm-hmm.
And from the time you're really young, everything is like, ghosts don't exist, that doesn't exist. Everything that's real is what you can see. Yeah. Which I don't think is true.
No.
But I mean, it kind of creeps me out. I mean, we have friends with kids, and sometimes they're dancing in the corner and looking at something. I mean, they're intelligent and old enough they're not hallucinating, they're not on drugs. Yeah. They're seeing something that's operating on a frequency that we can't see.
It could be.
And to me, it creeps me out, and I think there's something to that. Yeah. Because as soon as you start going to school, you're funneled into this way of thinking like, no, there's no supernatural stuff. You're just everything's right in front of you. Blah 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 blah. But you think about a sixth sense. I mean, a sixth sense is really hearing without hearing, seeing without seeing, tasting without tasting. If I say to you guys, what does an apple taste like?
Tastes like an apple.
But you can think about what that taste is like. There's a certain sweetness to it. Yeah. Or you can listen to a Genesis song. What does Fountain of Salmacis sound like, Ed?
Tastes like an apple.
And you can hear it, but you can't actually hear it. There's nothing perforating your eardrum. There's something else in your brain that's operating that you don't really understand.
Yeah. But which has maybe been there since the day you were born.
But it's just been squelched by your surroundings. Yeah. Like they don't want it. No, none of that stuff exists. You can't see it.
Yeah. I'm going to say for me, like when I listen to Pink Floyd The Wall, like
it activates that.
And you're stoned on a pound of hash.
It activates that. We don't advocate hash smoking, folks. This is a family-friendly podcast.
This is a Christian podcast.
This is a Christian podcast. God made the earth in 7 days.
And then he made hash.
And then
hash.
And humans planted dinosaur fossils.
Those atheists.
Dinosaurs are phony. They're planted by the non-believers to sully everyone's belief in God.
Right. Satan put those there just to let you know that Satan was here a lot longer than God was.
Some guy named Stan. Satan.
Yeah. Do you guys have any interest in space exploration? Do you follow NASA? Are you interested in that whatsoever? Did you ever?
More when I was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when I was a kid. The age thing. I'm old.
You said it. We didn't even bring it up this time. That's all you.
Did you see the moon landing?
At the age of 4 years old, I laid.
Did
on
Stanley
my
Kubrick produce it?
Living room
Like, what's your opinion?
And
We'll
watched a bunch of guys fumbling around in the Arizona desert.
Yeah.
In black and white. No, yeah, it's obviously it was a big thing back then. It was huge.
Yeah.
Everyone knew it.
Yeah.
Nothing's been done since. It's really
moon landing was the pinnacle of manned space exploration. I think. I mean, we haven't really done anything since then.
There's a lot of technical achievements that have been more impressive, I guess, but just in terms of that sort of.
The space station's extraordinary.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty amazing that they can keep that thing going for forever and.
Being able to bring a vehicle back down to Earth and then reuse it, that's an incredible technical achievement.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and one up you guys technologically and say that I think the greatest achievement.
I think you're about to say that you're a transformer.
That's later. That's later. No, the greatest achievement that humanity's ever forged
Photon
has
torpedoes.
been the vaporizing of a mountain in 1952, I want to say, with the Tsar Bomba.
Oh, the big bomb.
Biggest bomb that was ignited a mile over the Earth, and it literally vaporized a mountain. I mean, if that's not
In
technological...
Russia, was that?
Yeah, that was in Russia. That was what ended the bombs race. After that, they're like, fuck it, that's insane. The shockwave traversed the planet twice, and they were like, you know what? This isn't worth it.
That's enough.
If that's not use of technology, I mean, come on. You're making a bomb that can vaporize a mountain. That's really useful.
Let's put our
we need
balls
those.
back in our underwear and...
Yeah, put our dicks away and let's build a rocket. And I mean, I see your question is we should really be looking into space. I mean, we fucked this planet. Let's get some Star Trek shit going.
I'm of the opinion whereas like if the government, like I've talked to you about this before, if the government suddenly said, okay, now everybody is socialized, we're all going to work for the space program, I'd be like, fine.
You could get on board with that.
I'll go to work every day and hammer rivets into the side of a rocket ship if that's what we're going to do. I'd be totally fine with that. That's
because it's a common goal.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. If everybody was on the same page, we're going to space. We're going to try to find somewhere else to go. Everybody's working on it. I'd be content with that. I think.
Do you think?
Maybe not. Maybe I'd go to work and be like, "Fuck this shit." Just,
do you think?
I'd rather be painting.
I'd rather be painting a rocket ship.
Okay, well that's a good point. But I mean, would you feel the same way if it was out of absolute desperation? Because everything was fucked because of that said government ruining everything? Would you have the same... I mean, I guess you'd kind of have to at that point.
I think you'd have to, yeah. Yeah, especially if you've got kids or whatever.
There'd be more gravity to it, though. It'd be like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I'd like to go at it from a slightly different angle on the scientific side of things and say that it seems pretty much clear and obvious that there's no way that we're going to achieve space transport beyond the moon or, maybe Mars, but not beyond Mars.
Not in our lifetime.
Stay with me.
I know, I'll let you speak,
but
that.
If we do achieve that, it's not going to happen with a fossil fuel. Fossil fuels are ancient, archaic.
Okay.
You just can't get enough energy out of them, okay?
Yeah.
So if we're actually going to achieve this kind of transport through space, it's not going to be done with them.
Right.
So what I want to say is, rather than space exploration being the catalyst that produces all kinds of offshoot beneficial things for life on Earth, which is what you hear a lot of scientists talking about, which is true, why not turn that on its head and say that if we're going to do this huge long distance travel through space, what we need is some kind of non-fossil fuel energy source, maybe akin to electricity, but 5,000 times stronger. And what we need to do is get off fossil fuels and get our shit together on this planet, modernize things here, and out of that research, out of that science, might come the ability to actually do things safely in space.
This has already happened. Have you guys ever watched Event Horizon?
Event Horizon?
Event Horizon.
That's Sam Neill. It's a good movie.
It's a really good movie. And what is it? The Lewis and Clark spaceship?
Has a happy ending.
They just bent space-time so the 2 points, it was like a page, and like they would bend the page and the 2 points touched, and then you could traverse a giant... Shut up. Shut up, Ed. You could travel across...
Hold it.
Alec is holding up a piece of paper.
I've just a
So Sam Neill is on this edge.
Can I tape this?
Sam Neill is on this edge. I'm pointing. I am getting serious.
That's the paper we're using.
So Sam Neill has no eyes, but he doesn't need them where he's going. But I mean, yeah, obviously it's not that simple.
Yeah. I think that the rate that technology is developing now, that we'll find a way sooner than later to get to outside of our solar system, to an exoplanet, where people can get there, if not within their lifetime, then within a couple of generations.
That's a few generations away.
Yeah. I don't think... Well, I mean, it's funny, like, when you think about, like, when, like, I guess when you think about, like, when we first started to fly, we first started flying in, like, 1905.
It was like a 20-meter hop.
Yeah.
It was just like a really
small... And
small...
then we got to the moon 6 years later.
Well,
We just learned to fly, then we got to the moon 60 or 70 years later. It wasn't really far
well, yeah.
away.
The first flight was like 1907 or
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like early 1900s, and then we got to the moon in the 60s.
Unless you're a
So,
conspirator and you think
if
we've
you're-
still never been there and the Earth is flat, Ed.
Well,
come on.
I mean, I've never been to the moon, so I mean, it could possibly be true. I don't think so. I would say that moon landing conspiracies are bullshit. I think that we were there for sure. There's like hundreds of thousands of people working on this thing. If just one person squealed about it,
We call him a nut.
well, okay, fine. Come on.
No, Ed, I'll back you up on this one. I don't buy into all the ridiculous conspiracies about the moon.
It's
You
interesting, though.
You
I
just
like-
have to watch the rockets take off from Cape Canaveral.
Yeah, have you
You
done
know
that?
that it's true.
Yeah.
And where they go, they just
I
like
saw
sort
it
of
once.
careen into the ocean where all the
I saw it
cameras
on
turn
TV.
off. Like they're obviously going.
The rockets take off. You see the
Wow,
astronauts
wow,
are just
wow.
sort of walking away from it.
They get full pensions though, so they're happy.
Yeah.
Well, well, well.
Do you guys think we'll ever see a man on Mars in a lifetime?
I think it's...
Matt
see,
Damon.
that's doable.
Matt Damon was already there. Was he not?
In that movie, yeah, he was there. We got him back.
Oh,
so-
he actually-
Matt Damon.
When is that mission supposed to set off? What I mean, you know a lot more about that.
Well, it depends because I mean, I think under Barack Obama's regime, it's supposed to be 20 something.
Is he still going to be president then?
Then Trump's going to come in and just
when
fucking
he's gone, they'll
swipe
push
that
it down
away.
like 10 years. I mean, when Bush was president, he said like 20. I think he said 2020 we'd be on Mars, and now then Barack Obama came in. He's like he pushed it 8 years ahead. No, when Trump gets in, which he
He'll get it done by next year.
It'll be
Trump
38.
maybe. Trump is going to Mars. He goes by.
Excuse
He
me!
goes by himself.
Excuse me!
I'm getting on the rocket ship. Yeah. You think there's a point in sending a person to Mars?
I want to bypass the question by saying if you're going to go to Mars, you don't really need a point. You just got to do it.
You just gotta do it to do it.
Yeah.
Just to put a person
It's
there.
like climbing Everest.
Okay.
There's no point in climbing
That's
Everest.
true. There's no point in climbing Everest. But
Yeah.
there could be a point in going to Mars. It could be if you could get there. There could be a point in going back to the moon too to make like a fueling station because there is water on the moon. There's water on Mars.
Yeah, I think we already know the fundamentals with the robots we've sent there.
Mhm.
So I don't know what you're necessarily going to discover. Unless you're Matt Damon, then you stay there for like 3 years.
Eating potatoes.
He grew potatoes.
Oh, potatoes. Oh,
Ah, toy. I like my
I
potatoes.
like my potatoes.
Was he actually of Irish heritage?
Oh,
Like,
probably. He grew
Matt
fucking
Damon?
potatoes. What do you think? Obviously, he
it's a good
was.
thing he didn't get the blight.
You know what? I mean, if you're looking at like advancement of society, they should scrap everything they're doing now, and try and do like some interstellar shit. I don't know how that would happen. Get the physicists working on that. But I mean, going to Mars really is kind of fucking useless. I mean,
Well,
are they gonna?
Unless you,
If they find things there, are they gonna bring them back to Earth?
I think.
Are we gonna colonize Mars? Is it gonna be Total Recall? Is there gonna be Johnny Cab?
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
I know.
Well,
it's
what do you
true.
do?
The justification in it is in the science that you get under your belt.
Mm-hmm.
So if you scrap like military, because I mean, think about this. I mean, the amount of shit, the amount of money the state spends on military advancement, which is like, who cares? We should really be putting into space. I mean, I'd be a big proponent of like Ed's theory, where here's your NASA issued screwdriver and your drill bit, and go build that fucking rocket.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot more interesting than bombing Syrians or bombing the Middle East or whatever we're bombing. Like,
Yeah.
why do we bomb anyone? Everybody should be working together to get into space.
Let's not bomb
It's
each
fucking
other.
interesting.
Here,
I'm gonna write it. There's a whole album in this podcast that I'm gonna write, and we're gonna some Neil Young shit, right?
where is Neil in all of this, really?
He's
Yeah.
he's bitching about Monsanto. He's recorded like 6 records
Yeah.
trashing Monsanto.
So that skips my next question. I was going to ask you guys, how do we feel about space exploration? Is it something we should be working harder for or not worrying
Full
about?
speed ahead.
I say
Full speed
too.
ahead. Why
I
not?
I'm going to be the dissenter. I'm going to say, like I just said before, rather than spending your time and money on science and space and hoping that there's, sort of side effects that are beneficial here on the surface, why not turn it on its head? Why not just do the science here, address the issues that are problems here, like You know, for example, global warming.
Yeah.
Finding a different, better, more efficient source of energy. Why not do that and hope that that has future benefits in space?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I look at it.
I agree that. I agree with that too. I mean, I do want to fix shit here, but it's fucked.
It is fun.
That's the thing. If you talk to Al,
Think of it this
If
way.
you talk to
There's one way of looking at the space that going to the moon, right?
do you want to get the soapbox from the closet?
The way we got
There's
to
a
the moon.
soapbox
I
down
can get
there.
the soapbox
Ed's
here
gonna
for
get
Al.
the soapbox for
I'm
Al.
already on it.
It's
I'm already
time.
on it.
Oh,
It's
okay, he's already
time.
on.
It's time for the harkening with Alec Line.
It harkens
back to the time when we weren't burning so many fossil fuels.
Das ist gut.
No, I totally agree with it that we should fix stuff here first.
The way we got to the
I agree with
moon-
that. This planet's fucked.
But
Let's
I
go
think
to
it's
space. Let's go to the
I do,
stars.
like everyone says it's fucked. Everyone says we're past the point now of being able to come back from it.
Well, if you're
I think that's horseshit.
Really?
Yeah.
You think that it's still fixable? Okay.
so you think we should dump all our money into
How do you think we got to the moon? Motivation.
Stanley Kubrick?
How do you think we won World War II?
Fossil
Nuclear
fuels.
weapons.
Money was no object.
That's true. Money was no object in World War II.
Why was money no object in the moonshot? Because of the Cold War. Do we have a Cold War now? No. That's why we're not going to Mars. End of story.
Yeah.
We didn't go to the moon because of curiosity and scientific.
No, it was a dick
needs.
measuring contest with
It
the
was
Soviets.
one giant fucking pissing contest.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, look at the size of that fucking
Kennedy
thing, right?
and Khrushchev.
It's pretty
Yeah.
big.
So that's where it's at.
Okay.
But I mean, when does it reach critical mass with Earth, with the environmental thing? When do we turn into Venus?
It's pretty bad now. I mean, what are we? We're like 2 weeks ahead on our pollen season this year.
Yeah, that
I had to cut my fucking lawn the other day. It's not even. It wasn't even
We should
April.
all be buying property in northern
folks,
Canada.
the hardship that we're dealing with here in Victoria is just staggering. Like you
Yeah.
wouldn't believe.
It's getting so if you don't want to cut your grass in March, you got to move the.
I mean, the
the
pollen
Ottawa
count is
Valley.
out of control. I mean, you don't know the things we're going through here in Victoria. It's really hard. It's really tough.
I'm seriously looking at the Yukon.
It really harkens
Okay.
back to my time. No, but I'm fully with that on this one. I think that if we're going to spend resources and all that, it should be interstellar travel. I mean, is there any greater mystery than what else is out there?
Time.
Would you go right now? If someone said,
I'm a total pussy. I wouldn't go. No.
Would you go if someone said, "Here's a ticket"?
We'll send some brave men and women.
Just in orbit, just to go up in orbit. Would you go up in orbit?
No, because I've been there through the magic of video and audio.
How's like 100? They would never offer him a ticket.
Well, no. Yes, they would.
Well, they wouldn't.
If I had enough money to pay for it, which is what I'm going to make off this podcast.
$100, maybe.
That much?
No,
Sweet.
You're not making anything. We're actually going into serious debt over this. Every time we talk, we lose money. I wouldn't either. I would never go to space. Not for $1 million. I talk about it like we should do that. Let's all do that. But I'd be like, bye guys. Have fun.
Yeah. Have a good flight.
Yeah. I'd never go. Ever.
I remember in like younger grades when they would talk about astronauts and how brave they were. I'm like, who fuck? I'm like, that'd be cool. They get to go into space and float around. That's great.
Yeah.
Not knowing the gravity of the situation, and then you get a bit older, you're like, Jesus Christ! Could you imagine looking at the Earth from a little tiny,
Barf.
tiny?
I'd just be barfing all the time.
Oh,
throwing up. Constantly
Jesus.
throwing up. Yeah.
If I could share,
I'd just be thinking of the
cockpit with
Challenger
Sandra
the whole
Bullock.
time, like, oh, we're gonna explode. I can barely fly on a plane
Yeah. Me
without
too.
freaking out.
I can barely get
I think
on
the
a plane.
wing's gonna tear
Yes.
off. I'm like, oh gee, we're gonna depressurize.
Yeah.
Holy fuck,
We're all
it's
gonna
Payne
die.
Stewart all over again.
Any little bit of turbulence, and I'm like, oh, we're all dead. We're all gonna die.
Yeah.
Yep.
You just hold on to Freya or Shauna's hand. Like, okay, well, at least I got you.
Yeah, we're just a stranger that's next.
And then she's
to me.
already frozen.
Yeah.
Her window's all frosted. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
No,
You guys have some really cool, morbid imaginations.
Yes.
we do.
Aaron is throwing stuff at Alec.
I threw a beer tab at him.
Okay, if you could go anywhere in the solar system, even though we wouldn't ever, apparently none of us would leave here. But if you could go anywhere in our solar system, one shot deal, where would you go? Just to see.
Kepler 87.
What is that?
It's something I just made up. I don't know. I'm not sure.
What would you like to see?
I would be like that giant blue guy with the comparatively small dick from The Watchmen. I would go to the surface of the sun
Yeah.
and just stand there and hang out.
Just the surface of the sun.
Like let my dick hang out.
On the surface of the sun.
Yeah. Just maybe go for a hike.
It would make you feel like you had the biggest dick in the solar system. Look at my sun dick.
Check out the plasma explosions and yeah, cool.
Arlen, where would you go?
I would go to LV 426. What's funny about that? It's a perfectly habitable planet.
In our solar system.
LV 426. Well,
it's not in our solar system.
Why is it so specific?
Well, we're going to get to the next question. Will be anywhere in the universe.
You gotta have parameters.
What I'm saying right now,
if you're gonna have a podcast, you gotta have parameters.
If you don't necessarily have to get on a rocket and go there. I'm saying if you go anywhere instantaneously, what would you like to see right now? But you get one chance to go there. You get one chance to go anywhere and just look. No discomfort. You go there and you come back right away.
I gotta go with Mars. I don't want to. The hipsters are gonna be upset with me about this, but I mean,
Mars isn't hip.
Mars is all no. Arnold Schwarzenegger was there. I mean, everyone's been there. Come on. Anyone who's been anyone has been to Mars.
Yeah.
But I got to see it for myself. I want to rub shoulders with celebrities and go to Mars. I would go to Mars.
Yeah.
Right? It's red.
The red planet. What are you, a fucking commie?
Oh god.
Yeah.
Are you like Khrushchev's grandson or something?
You
What's going
fucking
on here?
pinko commie.
Why do you think I was so excited about that mountain getting vaporized?
Yeah.
That was the pinnacle of the Russian technology you don't even understand.
Is your rocket going to be paid for by the party? Is that what's going to happen here?
Mm-hmm. I see. If you could go anywhere in the universe, what would you like to see? Right now.
Universe.
Ed's looking at me. Maybe you should ask Al because you've already heard my shitty answer.
No, you're drunk as fuck. This is your
I know
hilarious.
fuck all about the universe.
What did I say? LV 426.
You want to go to the alien planet that doesn't exist?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't look at the egg. Shut up, Star Wars. This guy likes Star Wars.
Well, I'm not saying I want to go to fucking Alderaan. It's been vaporized.
You just said that though. Now it's on record.
Alec, anywhere in the universe.
What was Luke Skywalker's planet?
Tatooine.
I want to go to Tatooine.
It's not real though.
It's got 2 moons though.
That's true.
Honestly, my knowledge of space is so limited.
Two suns. Sorry.
This obviously isn't a very well-researched podcast because all the planets we're referencing are from fucking films that we like.
Yeah, this is a real science fucking
LV 426.
What planet's the Little Prince from?
I want to go to that planet in Star Trek that's got.
When Ridley Scott put a
on
face
it.
hugger egg, that's the one I want to see.
Yeah,
Apollo Creed.
Yeah, Apollo Creed. Or maybe the son of Apollo Creed.
All right. I got one more thing to talk about here. Mysteries. Ooh, mysteries. Black holes.
Holes.
What's on the other side of a black hole?
That's a good
A
question.
giant hemorrhoid.
Think so? It's just being squeezed out a bigger entity. We're just chuffing on the way out.
That is one of the greatest mysteries of the universe. What is in the black hole?
Do you think that when we get to the edge of whatever this universe is, that there will be a perceivable edge where you just step outside that and like it's black and suddenly it's white?
Great question.
I don't think
There's like
so.
there's like a great whiteness and you're like, well,
you're as a human
there's just more
being,
stuff.
your brain can't possibly fathom infinity.
I don't think so either.
It can't possibly understand it. I mean, we talked about like the bandwidth of senses. I don't think we're engineered to understand what infinity even could be. Al's really bored of what I'm saying.
No, I mean deep thought.
He's staring at his beer label. He's
like
picking at his fingers.
It's that piece of aluminum cap that you threw at me.
I didn't do that.
It's you did.
Oh, I did do that. I'm sorry.
You see, my idea about black holes, it's kind of like asking what's in the back of my TV, right? All we see is, Survivor.
Not even close.
PGA golf.
That's all your TV plays is Survivor and PGA golf.
Do you think that highly of your television that you
Sometimes
compare it to a
BBC
black
does.
hole?
But I don't really know what's going on behind that, right?
My TV plays
somebody
a lot.
does.
My TV plays a lot of porn after 12 a.m. in the morning. It's weird.
I have a plasma, so it's got really good black levels, but I never
That's
think
a good
they're black
universe to
hole
be in.
levels.
Yeah. Sorry, Alec.
What was I saying?
I don't know. Something about TV.
You just compared a black hole to your fucking tube
I
TV
think it's kind of
that you
weird.
have.
Infinity is like weird. It's like you can't think of when you talk about distances that are that big, space that's that massive.
Your brain...
You can't think in terms of 3 dimensions, like, you know, the whole, what is it, X, Y, and Z axis, the 3-dimensional space of geometry. You can't think that way. There's got to be something else, like time. Maybe time has some effect on it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the physicists these days are talking about the space-time continuum and all that shit, or just space-time they're calling it, right? And how it ties into Einstein's general theory of relativity. So there's something beyond that. And to think of it in terms of like the distance between here and that wall is ridiculous. It's kind of infantile, really. So to approach it with that frame of reference is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that science in general today, when, you know, in terms of astrophysics and astronomy, is kind of like arrogant and infantile. They're like, we know this, we know this, we know this, we know this.
They do come off a little arrogant.
I'm a totally bona fide, what is it? I'm not an atheist, but I don't.
Wouldn't that be depressing, though?
Yeah.
I mean, I think part of what you're saying...
The only way to be is agnostic, because you just don't know. There's some things you don't know, and maybe you will never know. Maybe you will, but right now you don't.
I think where Al's speaking from is sort of a little bit of bitterness, because, I mean, if you look at, like... No,
I am
no, I'm not trying to...
That's because my beer is too hot.
Shut up. I'm not trying to trash Al.
Don't make it more bitter.
I'm not trying to trash Al, but I mean,
I thought Al was pretty good there.
If you're... No, but if you're a scientist and you know... really are a highly educated person and you know all your fields to their completion, and there's still so many answers that you want and you just can't get, it would make you kind of bitter. I mean, spirituality would probably go right out the window. I mean, we don't have a good understanding of physics, and I wish I did, but say we did, Al. Say all 3 of us knew the outer reaches and we're, you know, the pinnacle of our fields. We still wouldn't have the answers.
No.
We still wouldn't know why it's all here. We still wouldn't know where it ends. We still wouldn't know how to travel interstellar. It would be really frustrating.
Interstellar? What did you say?
I said interstellar.
Yeah.
Yes, I said interstellar.
Intro.
But I think that's kind of what you're saying. It's like they kind of come off as pretentious in this, but they're probably frustrated. Like, wouldn't you be? If you reach the absolute pinnacle of your field and you still didn't, because there are no answers that we can achieve, at least in this part, at least in this time.
Yeah.
We're not there. We might never be there, and maybe we're not meant to be there. You know?
I agree.
You had some weird looks here.
No, I agree. I just think that science it comes across as being
up its own ass.
We have discovered the facts of the reality, right?
But they're limited facts.
The bottom line is
limited.
All science is transitory, right? It's true for as long as it's true.
Well, it's all
It's
all
true
theoretical.
until something else comes
Somebody
along.
else comes along and shatters it with
And it
some
might
other
not
theory.
even shatter it. It might just add. It might just add to the
a
equation.
little layer.
You know,
And if you keep adding to that equation, finally, what you originally had here is kind of meaningless because it's so small.
Because it's so archaic
Right.
and...
So when you realize that that's the reality you're dealing with, then all of these theologies become more palatable, because, you know, it's like, how is, you know, a Christianity or Islam or all that shit, how can you say that doesn't...
You can't
that's
disprove
impossible,
it. You cannot disprove
anything. It might
anything.
just be another sort of literary or symbolic way of talking about
interpreting.
the same thing.
it could be, yeah.
So how is Genesis different from the Big Bang? Right? It's just a different way of talking about it.
Peter Gabriel Genesis or Phil Collins Genesis?
Why is...
Which one? Are we talking about, like, Invisible Touch or, like, Foxtrot? I mean, you got to narrow it down.
I'm going to go with the latest Phil Collins single.
Okay. Well, that ruins all your credibility then.
How is evolution might just be the process by which God achieved his
God is nut out.
his goal
Yeah.
in 7 days. Maybe 7 days is like the millennia that have passed. You know, whatever. It's just a different way of... It's different language.
You can't shit on any single religion or any single theory because we've never died and came back and we don't know. And it's very true. I mean, that's what's so frustrating about really, really fundamentalist religious people, because this is going to happen when you die, and this is going to happen. It's like, well, the ignorance of that statement is so frustrating. And that's kind of what you're saying. It's like, you know, you can science yourself to death, you can religion yourself to death, but there's got to be something in the middle, because you can't disprove either thing.
Yeah.
I mean, really, nobody knows where we came from, why we came from, or what the fuck we're doing, or why we're doing it.
We're all just climbing up the same mountain, taking different paths.
And interpreting it in a different way.
And we're never going to make it.
And the interpretations aren't wrong. They're all interesting. You should take them in, put your spin on them, and leave it.
Yeah.
Don't worship it. Don't fling yourself into a pit. Don't kill a bunch of people. I pee myself. You should edit that out.
Arlen's gone for his piss break.
Okay.
We're on our own again.
Well, extrapolate on that.
I'm going to skip that altogether.
Okay.
I can barely talk.
Hit me with something new.
What do you think about intelligent beings in the universe? Are they out there?
I think that there's absolutely nothing that I have come across in my life and my readings and my experience that would disprove that theory.
So that's a yes?
That's a maybe.
A soft yes?
There's absolutely nothing in my experience and my readings and everything else either that would suggest that there is.
Have you ever seen anything in the sky that made you go, what the fuck was that?
The satellite once was crossing the sky. And that kind of freaked me out.
But you knew it was a satellite. You've never seen anything up there that was like really weird? No. Yeah.
The biggest thing that made me think about there being something else beyond and some sort of greater being beyond was
Star Trek II Wrath of Khan.
that, but prior to that, even as a younger kid, Dr. Zeus.
What? Really?
Guess which title?
I don't know. I don't really.
Horton Hears a Who.
Okay.
It's basically the thesis on infinity and space. It's like
I've never read that.
Well, it's basically this elephant comes along and he finds this little bloom of a seed pod, and on this tiny little speck on it is this huge world to the people who are living on it.
Yeah.
So it's like it's the concept of it's a retake on Gulliver's Travels.
Okay.
Right? It's like the big and the small.
Yeah.
The very big and the very small.
Right.
And what's the difference between them, right? And you can go from the very small to what seems like the very big, and then like in Gulliver's Travels, he goes across the sea, and all of a sudden he's the very small. Okay. And on it goes, right?
Right.
It's just it's that mind expanding concept. It's great stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that tells you more about the potential of infinity and God and whatever else you want to call it than any kind of science that we have today.
Okay. Arlen's just coming back. Arlen, do you like Tim Hortons donuts?
Love Tim Hortons.
They're delightful.
That's what Alec was talking about that whole time.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got from that too.
Yeah, especially the Boston cream. Although it is fake.
This really is such a... We should have broken this... I mean, we could always break this down to a couple of podcasts because, I mean, obviously talk about existence and...
Yeah.
Whenever you look at the stars or look at space, you start to think about yourself as a little tiny biological speck.
I just asked Alec if he believed that there is alien life in the universe. And he said...
Start talking about Gulliver's Travels.
He said no one took a swing at me. And it was really weird for a minute. So I'm going to ask you, do you think there's... I'm just kind of scared. Do you think there's any intelligent life out there?
Do you believe in Jesus Christ?
Do you believe in life after love?
Is that the subject though, alien life?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Oh shit. Well, I mean, of course, if you look at the sheer amount of stars, billions. There's billions and billions and billions. And even if like a small percentage of those were suns functioning for other planets, there'd have to be something else.
Now Alex
is gonna hit the water closet. Me and Ed are gonna have a heart to heart about aliens.
It's hard to heart to heart.
I like those ones that burst out of your chest. I like those ones.
Yeah.
No, but this is when we can sort of segue into like the Fermi's paradox.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like that whole equation is like if you look at the billions of stars and like you quantify that down to like how many habitable planets there are based on our own solar system.
Yeah.
Like there should be a fuck ton of intelligent life in the universe.
Yes.
And Fermi's paradox is basically stating, where is it? Why haven't we seen it?
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on? And there's a million different theories as to why that is. But I mean, my statement on that is I definitely think there is other intelligent life. And there's a huge chance that if there is, they probably haven't got to the technological state that they need to be to master interstellar travel. Yes, I said interstellar. I'm not talking about the Matthew McConaughey one.
Yes, you are. You love Matthew McConaughey. I know you do. I know it.
Was he driving a Lincoln in that?
He was also the Lincoln lawyer.
He's driving a Lincoln.
It's called Interstellar Lincoln Lawyer.
I've been driving a Lincoln.
I'm going to solve your criminal case with my Lincoln.
He's a good-looking fella.
Yeah, sure is. So do you think that... Okay, no, I asked Alec this. Have you ever seen anything crazy in the sky that made you go, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, but it was space junk. I knew what it was.
It was like a meteorite? Yeah, same here,
with
man.
cadets.
I wish I had a good story. I was hoping somebody here would have a story where they were like, oh no, one time I saw a strobe light. Yeah, me too.
No, it was space junk. It was space junk. It was with cadets. I was in the PPCLI cadets, which is like our local army cadets.
That's depressing. Can't somebody just make up a fucking story about seeing a UFO?
You know what?
None of us have seen one. I wish I'd seen one.
I don't want to. I don't want to fuck the audience like that. Mm-hmm. This has to be real.
Hi, Dad.
No, it was just space junk. But I mean, it was fucking incredible. I mean, it really was. It was just like this shimmering, glowing. Everything was a trail, and we were just. Everyone stopped. Everyone, like our sergeant, everyone shut the fuck up for 5 minutes and looked at it.
Yeah.
And nobody said a word.
Yeah.
We all knew what it was. We knew it was supposed to be out there, and it was just like, it was still jaw dropping and amazing.
Yeah.
And it was fucking space junk.
Cool. So
I mean, I can't imagine seeing something unexplained. Like I'd probably piss myself. I'm kind of a pussy. We talked about this earlier. I'm definitely not the space travel guy.
I wouldn't want to be alone when I saw it. I want somebody to, because I would just think I'd hallucinated if I saw it by myself. I'd be like, that's just something I made.
But if you talk about interpretation, say you lived out there and wherever the fuck we were up island, and you had a little beach house there with your wife, and you went outside to have a cigarette. Yeah. And you look up in the sky and saw that space junk and had no idea that you'd probably shit yourself.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh.
Yeah.
You'd put your own spin on it. You'd be like, oh my god, I saw this. I don't know what it was. It was glowing. You'd read the paper the next day and.
Yeah.
But I don't have a
No, me either.
No alien stuff.
Do you think that UFOs are real in any way?
Well, you're talking about UFO sightings. If there's like breaking it down into two possibilities. One is that there's a lot of crap out there and bullshit and liars and fakes and just exhibitionists who are telling stories.
Yeah. And
hidden among that, there's like a few bona fide, genuine sightings? Mm-hmm. Or is it all just the first?
No.
What do you suspect? I think it's just all just bullshit?
I think that there's a lot of people out there trying to make money off the UFO phenomenon, selling books and shit like that. I think that's probably the majority of people.
For sure.
And I think that there's probably 20% of those people that really believe they saw something, but probably just saw an experimental. I don't think they've ever
plane or something.
Yeah, I don't think they've actually ever been here. I don't believe that UFOs have ever. I mean,
well, see,
why come here, get seen, and then not make yourself known? Like it doesn't.
Yeah, good question.
Or like Roswell, like the idea that you would travel interstellar space to come to our planet and then crash. You're not going to crash.
That one's fucked. If you subscribe to the theory that aliens planted us here to, mine resources, or we're just an experimental thing, then you could sort of give some credibility to them sort of peering over us and just fucking off. But the Roswell thing, I got to agree. I mean, that's like some X-Files shit. It's fucking ridiculous. Yeah. They crashed in the desert.
Yeah.
But it seems... come on. If they had the technology to get here, like they're just going to peter out and run out of petrol and crash in the desert.
Maybe some alien rookie fucks up.
Yeah.
Once in a blue moon.
I think the funny thing about, like, since I was a kid, I've loved that stuff. Like, I love UFOs. I love alien abduction stories. I think that's the shit. And I love it to be real. But, like, I know it's not. But I just love it to be real. Like,
the truth is out there.
Yeah, it's the same thing with, like, ghosts. Ghosts are, like, like UFOs, all that stuff. I want it to be real.
You want to see something that just blows your hair back.
Yeah, totally.
You want to tell your friends, holy shit, I saw this disc in the sky.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, I do lean that way. I'm like, show me it. But, like, I'm also... a
realist,
and like I've never seen it, most of the people that I hear talk about it are
Or
crackpots.
fucking retarded.
Yeah, so I know and there's a lot of money that goes into these people that claim they've seen these things. You know, they take in a lot of money selling their books and shit like that, so I know it's not real. But there's like a part of me that's like, man, I want to see this.
It's like mediums. Have you guys ever been to like the psychic fairs or any of that
No.
shit? I've never done that either.
I've
but
never done that.
It sort of runs on the same lines. Like, is there something there, or are they just cold reading you and asking you questions that, oh, someone died in the last 10 years, didn't they? It's like, well, most people, if you're over a certain age, yes, you've lost somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So are they just like chasing that
Sure they are.
high probability thing, or do some of them
That's
actually
a real
see
ego thing for me, where like I've never believed in it because I'm like, I don't want to think that somebody else has got a special power that I don't.
You can just like suck information out of your brain. Yeah, it's
like,
a little bit fucking intimidating.
You're bullshit. No, you don't have that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't have it. It's a total ego.
Well, I can do long division too.
I can't actually. That's
can't
why I'm
either.
doing a podcast, and I'm also a painter. Painter's podcast.
But here's another logical, reasonable way of looking at it. And that is, we're here. We know we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow, we got here. We're in this thing we call space.
Spirits in a material world.
Why is it so unreasonable to expect that there would be someone else that we don't know about as yet?
I think that, I mean, obviously, the odds, there has to be. There doesn't have to be either, but just the odds are that there should be someone out there at the same time that we're around.
And the odds are that at the same time, there's ones that are less advanced
And more advanced.
and more advanced.
Or gone. Like, they've
Or
gone.
extinct. Long extinct.
Yeah.
This is when I should bring up the Great Filter, and this is something that me and Ed have talked about, and this ties into that Fermi paradox. And the Fermi paradox is something we talked about when you were in the bathroom, and it was about the high probability.
You're always cutting me out of the good shit.
Can I go pee now? Can you guys talk for
Yeah,
5 minutes?
we'll do a thing
Okay.
here where we talk.
All right, we're almost up.
Yeah, the Fermi paradox is basically where is all the extraterrestrial life, like based on the billions and billions of stars, and the small percentage of inhabitable planets. Like where is everything? And one of the things that sort of plays into that is the Great Filter, which is saying that if any sentient species that reaches a certain point of technological advancement will just collapse on itself, which is sort of not talking about global warming and stuff, but I mean, there's a point where humanity,
Sure.
it's going to fall into
The
itself.
Roman Empire.
So that's one of the theories as to why we've never seen anything, is because any species that has gotten to any sort of technologically advanced point eventually just falls apart because they void their planet of resources and just destroy themselves with ego and
Before they're able to
achieve
intergalactic travel.
So there could be a lot of planets like us that we will never see because we're never going to get there, because the Great Filter just says no. And the Great Filter isn't only our own
And
fuck
they're
ups.
never going to get here.
It could be the giant, it could be Yellowstone going up, or it could be that big volcano in Indonesia which would cause a nuclear winter, a giant meteor. That's the Great Filter. So it's either our own fuck-ups, something,
Solar flare,
something like that, which is interesting and could very well be true. I mean, how many thousands and thousands and thousands of years do you really think it would take for humanity to actually achieve interstellar travel?
I think with Donald Trump at the seat of power, it would take considerably longer.
You said Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Donald Bassoon.
He's been doing a lot of trumpeting.
Yes.
Yeah, space.
The Great Filter. We were talking about the Great Filter.
Yeah, we've talked about that a few times.
Society gets to a certain point, collapses in itself, and you never get beyond your own solar system,
Right.
which is that could be happening everywhere. That could just be like a universal law, whether it's a meteor or a supervolcano or war or bullshit or just destroying your own planet.
Okay, how do you guys feel about this little sort of potentially, paranoia-based concept?
My heart's pounding already.
even if some massively genius superstar science star came along who figured out, let's say, how to do this, right?
Alex
how to jump
doing the folding paper
through space
thing
From Event Horizon.
From Event Horizon.
Yeah.
He doesn't. You don't need eyes where he's going.
Even if that guy came along
Sam Neill. So if Sam Neill came along, and folded,
great actor,
fantastic.
Folded a piece of paper.
If you folded a 4x6,
would anybody ever know about it, or would it just be swallowed up? Can something that big be swallowed up by the machine?
Yeah.
In order to keep everybody working and doing their thing.
Because if you did find that, then it would just kind of like, why would anyone go to work and pump gas?
Me and Ed would drop our paintbrushes and just watch CNN.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
It would be like 911. It would be a constant state of 911.
The economy would grind to a halt.
Yeah.
That's a good point, actually.
That's true.
I'm not a big conspiracy guy, but I like that. I like that spin on it. It's true.
Yeah.
So things that big can't be released by definition.
Because the populace would cease to.
It would just
feed
completely
the fucking
shatter
fires
the
of.
Yeah.
Feed the
We'd
fires.
be stepping outside
the economy.
Yeah.
So what do you? Okay, that's interesting. I don't think it would, but that's interesting.
No.
I think.
You think you could do it?
That I could make that happen?
That you could just allow it to
Personally?
get out there and be released.
People would probably think it was fake, though. That's the thing. People would think it was fake.
What about aliens arriving?
I would say we'd have no choice. If they were here, they'd be here. And
maybe if it was accidental on their part and they didn't really want to be seen.
They just were just cruising through and they're like, oh shit, they can see us. We forgot to put up
Turn
the invisibility
on the
cloak.
cloaking.
Yeah.
Turn on the cloaking device.
Yeah.
You can always think of the universe as like, the world in the 1800s, where there's lots of different groups of people that just couldn't get to each other.
Mm.
Yeah, like the North American natives.
Exactly. It could be like that.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Where there's some really advanced species that are beyond our capability, but not advanced enough to get here. It could be like that. We could just be out in the middle of nowhere. They have no interest in...
That's an excellent way of putting it.
Another way of looking at it is that, like, Adam was telling me this, my buddy Adam.
Adam's a friend of ours. He's a mutual friend.
He might be on the podcast someday, but he was saying that, like, I think he was like one of Stephen Hawking's theory where like SETI, like we're constantly listening to the universe around us, trying to see what's out there. And one of the theories is that there's a giant war going on, but everybody's really quiet because the big bad guys are, when they hear a planet talking, they go out there and they go out there
turn
and
it into
annihilate
dust.
them. So while we're projecting all these FM stations and stuff like that into the universe, and people are like, "Those guys are crazy. They're crazy. They're gonna get caught." The universe could be silent for a reason. It could be silent because there's a giant, badass fucking military out there going around assimilating planets, and we're just like, "Hey, listen, this is."
Come and say hi.
Come
hi. Say hi. Here we are.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it could be silent.
Fucking Independence Day.
It could be silent for that reason.
Fucking Voyager. I mean, where's that going? And who's going to get it?
Voyager is going no. I think Voyager's like stuck in like the interstellar.
The goopy space. The space that's sort of thick.
Yeah,
it's like slowed down or something. Ed can elaborate. He's told me about
Once you get outside the solar winds, there's like an interstellar medium where space gets stickier. So it's slowed down. It should be going faster, but it's gotten to a spot where it's outside of our solar wind, so it's just sort of like there's nothing out there to push it. It's still moving, but it's not moving as fast as it was. Apparently. Yeah.
Well, my panic attack is going well. How's your guys' panic attacks going?
My panic attack is fine. It feels pretty good. I'm really into it.
I like that. I heard a thing, and it was a Stephen Hawking thing too, and he's like, maybe we shouldn't be broadcasting.
Yeah, maybe we should.
Because that might end really poorly for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds, Matrix-esque and sci-fi, but...
Here we are. We can't get off our planet, but you should come to our planet.
Hey! Come take all our shit. We have diamonds. Diamonds, gold. Women? Hey, take all of them. Fuck it. We're idiots.
Yeah. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah, we're starting to wander. Sorry, folks.
I think the three people who were listening to this podcast have long ago left. They've gone to rewatch reruns of Firefly.
Yeah. Ed, wrap it up.
I think they probably left after the opening sketch, which was great. I'd like to say goodnight to the professor.
Good night.
Alec Line, the assistant.
I didn't do an accent in my bit, so good night.
I didn't either.
Arlo Infinity. I'm Ed Craig. This has been Improperganda. Good night.
Good night.